Hello and welcome. I'm Jenny. Thanks for joining me today. This is a Facebook Live video demonstration, and I will be exploring the brand new 2018 through 2020 Stampin' Up! In colors. Aren't they beautiful? I just am so excited to be able to use brand new colors. There's lots of information that has been shared out in the universe right now about all of Stampin' Up's big color changes. And I'm going to be bringing lots and lots of news and opportunities and loads of projects to share with you all. One of the biggest excitements right now is the Share What You Love suite that is available in the new Stampin' Up! Catalog. If you are not a demonstrator, then you will be able to order this starting in May. It's going to be right here in this wonderful catalog. So Share What You Love suite is just a wonderful set of products that is designed by Stampin' Up! With stampers in mind. And there are 3 different stamp sets that come in different bundles. And I will be giving lots more information out as it gets a little closer. But this is my first share, and I want you to be able to get lots of ideas. So the first stamp set that comes with this is Love What You Do. And Love What You Do is like probably one of the most versatile stamp sets that I've been finding using right now. I'm so excited to use it. For those that have struggled with a watercolor wash, here is your answer. You can just stamp a watercolor wash down. This is the Make a Difference stamp set, and this is a photopolymer stamp set that has 2 sheets and a total of 143 individual images. Isn't that great? You can customize so many things, and I have some special ideas already cooking up to be able to use with this. In one of the bundles, you can exclusively get this stamp set that is called Statement of My Heart, and it is based on the Statement of the Heart from Stampin' Up! And this is a wonderful thing. You can put inside a card. You can make home decor from it because the words are so beautiful. Or you can stamp it on the back of your card. That's what I plan to do. So for today, we're actually going to be using this stamp set in my demonstration. If you missed the demonstration, then don't worry. You can watch the replay. You can catch up to it. I'm also going to be cross-posting it on my YouTube channel. If you'd like to make a comment and pop in that you're here watching, I'd love to say hello to you. So we're going to be stamping with this large floral image here, and I'm going to show you different ways to use that. Plus I'm going to use this little tiny cluster of flowers. At the same time, we're going to start playing with the new ink colors. And one of the ways that I like to test out new colors is with one of my favorite techniques, and that's the watercolor smooshing technique. If you follow my projects, my YouTube channel and my Facebook, then you know that watercolor smooshing is something that I use quite a lot. And I'm interested to see exactly what these colors are going to do with watercolor smooshing. So I've got some materials already cut and prepared. We're going to go through the process, and we're going to do watercolor smooshing with each one of these colors, and we're going to make a full set of cards. So let's get started with this one up in the front, Pineapple Punch. This is a beautiful yellow in the new design of a stamp pad. Opens up like a compact. And I can see already that that's just going to be a vibrant and spectacular color. One thing that is different about the stamp pads is we don't really have the ability to squash them so much because they're so rigid and firm. Usually I would squash it and then I would open up and use my aqua painter to take some of the ink from the lid. So now the way to do this is going to be to put some drips, some little drops of ink from my ink refill, which I always have on hand anyhow, and I'll be able to pick it up from there. So that's a solution if you are struggling with how do you come up with some ink on the lid of your stamp pad. Call Me Clover is a beautiful green. It's vibrant and colorful. It's going to be wonderful to craft with. Now, I haven't opened these stamp pads. This is the first I'm using. I haven't even put the stickers on them. They have never touched a stamp, so this is going to be a great experience for both of us. This is lovely lipstick. It's a beautiful red, pink red color. Blueberry Bushel. I can see lots of purple tones in with the blues. Grapefruit Grove. I'm really excited about this one because this is a unique color. I thought it would be nice to make a full set of cards. Hi Sharon, thanks for joining me. You are on Cheryl's team. Yay! Cheryl's a very good friend of mine from Australia, and we are business partners, and we share in a lot of our tutorials. I'm so glad that you popped over and said hello, Sharon. It must be very late for you. To start off, I have pre-cut some pieces of watercolor paper. Actually, these are watercolor paper panels that were left over from my swaps for onstage. So I created some special cards that had watercolor, and I had these little strips of paper left over, and since I had 5 of them, I thought that would be a great opportunity. It is late for you, Sharon. That's okay. Some late night craft experience. So I'm adding in this little cluster here. I've already treated my watercolor paper with the embossing buddy. That's the anti-static embossing tool. And I'm adding 4 of these little flower units. Get that covered up. And I'm going to be using some clear embossing powder. One thing to consider whenever you're using embossing powder, especially on watercolor paper, is the watercolor paper is not a true white. It's more of an off color. So when you use white embossing, the white embossing powder is going to really stand out as white against the watercolor paper. So that's okay as long as you don't want to have a white on non-white contrast in your project. However, there's lots of times when I don't want the whole piece of watercolor paper to be covered in ink. I just want a part of it to be covered in ink so that I can showcase the contrast, what the wash is going to look like. Hi Debbie, thanks for joining me, and hi Joanne. So I'm going to use the heat tool very quickly to set this clear embossing powder. I know this is loud, and I apologize. One way that I do my heat embossing on watercolor or thick paper is from both sides of the paper, and that's going to help keep the warp down. The paper is going to want to warp anyhow, but by turning it back and forth, it makes a little bit of a difference. The heat will bring the fold of the paper back over and help it to lay straight. There's lots of different things you can do to get the paper to straighten up. I prefer to use tear and tape and just make it lay down. I don't give it any options. It's like a wet noodle. And the wet noodle is, you just really got to wrangle that thing. Hi, Arlene. Thanks for joining today. So I'm going to start with Grapefruit Grove. And I've got my silicone craft mat here. I have embossed the little tiny floral images. And I want to give one word of note. By using a very small cluster like this, then what I'm able to do is have tiny bits of white or tiny bits of non-colored watercolor paper in the area, and it's going to give me the right balance on my project. I'm going to be using some vanilla cardstock to mount these. All right, so this is a little firm to slide in there, but that's okay. Now I'm going to just dab my ink pad, not too much. Now this is more of a low profile ink pad as well. And I like how it just closes up very firmly. That's great. I have my Stampin' Spritzer that is filled with water. Hi, Arlene. I'm going to give it a couple of spritz of plain water until I can see that the color is diluted. That's what I'm looking for, is to make sure that the water kind of touched all of the ink that I smushed down. Now I'm going to take this and do a typical ink smushing technique. This is a great alternative to watercolor washing if someone has an issue with watercolor washes. Now I'm turning this because I want to get it, I see that it's kind of structured in this way, and I want to keep that on my paper. I don't want there to be color going like, you know, sideways or diagonally. I would like to try to keep it more in line. And you'll see why whenever we get the project worked. So I'm going to bow the paper. Okay, I kind of rocked it over a little bit. And I do have some spots that are darker than others, and I'll use my finger to go over it just a little bit. And I'm not looking for perfection here, stampers. Perfection is not something that you need in watercolor. This is a very forgiving technique. Got a little hair there from a paintbrush. Okay, and this is good enough. Now, what I could do is I could take and dry this or let it dry naturally. Hi, Teresa. And add more color if there's more color needed. Right now I'm okay with this, but I want a little bit more uniformity here. So I'm going to just dip it right back onto the paper, and I'm going to try to keep this part out. So I'm going to bow up that bottom part here and just give it a little dab. Push it with my finger a little bit. It's going to be like a different color of the Grapefruit Grove. And this is perfect, just right. Okay, so this is how Grapefruit Grove looks. I like how it has the warm tones, and then look over here where it's more concentrated. It definitely is more of a rich color. So I can see the yellows coming out in this, and it's beautiful. Wow, I really like how this smushed out. Now, if I want to have this come much more dark, then it would be great to be able to dunk it back again. And I'm going to try to keep that just in the central areas to create more interest. Hi, Kathy. Yes, it is. I have my silicone craft mat, and when I do ink smushing, I've evolved to where I just about always use my silicone craft mat for so many things. And I dabbed onto the silicone mat with Grapefruit Grove, and then I used my Stampin' Spritzer to give it a couple of spritzes, and I stop spritzing when I can see that all of the ink actually has been touched by water. Okay, I'm going to go and dip it right back just a bit, just to give it a little something more. Here we go. Now those are interesting. Okay, that's great. Now because I have a couple of little splotches at the top, I'm going to make them look intentional. Crafter's secret, right? And I'm going to get those splotches looking down at the bottom too, so that it looks intentional and it looks part of the design. Okay, so let's set this guy aside and let it dry. I can see that it's already starting to dry back a little bit. And I'm going to clean this up with just a damp paper towel. I had damp paper towels all set and ready to go before I started this presentation, so that way it could go as streamlined and quick as possible for you all, because we're going to do all 5 colors. This is Blueberry Bushel. I'm going to give it a couple of dabs, and I'm going to look for that vertical. I'm going to try to emulate the vertical look. There we go. I would like to mention that if you're watching it, if you're watching this video, and you would share it to your Facebook page, and you would like my Facebook page, Jenny Hall Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and make sure you leave a comment here, then I will be doing a drawing on Saturday for the full set of cards. I'm going to make 5 cards today, and I will send out the full set of 5 cards. So I'll be doing a drawing, but you need to share this video, like my business page, and leave a comment on this video thread. Super easy. Okay, so we've got Blueberry Bushel, and I'm going to give it a few spritz. Okay. I'm going to help that ink move around just a little bit by using my silicone mat here. All right. Now I've already heat embossed 4 more panels so that we can just get right to it. So I'm going to pick up and bow those images, and I'm going to kind of roll it through the ink a little bit. Now, if you have a question about it as I go, please give me a comment, and I will be glad to expound on this, because this is a wonderful way for everybody to learn how to do this technique. So I don't want the water to touch the ends of the panel. I want it to just stay here. And that's why I'm picking up and bowing this. And I'm just going to roll it through the first time around. Oh, wow. Look at those colors. I'm so excited. This is beautiful. This is such a beautiful, unique blue color. Okay, and I'm using my finger to just move it around. And as the ink kind of spreads out and gets less concentrated, it's going to be a lighter shade. And that's okay, because look at what it did over here. And that gives us all that beautiful interest. Okay, and I'm going to dip it in, just like we did the other one. And we've got some little splatter marks over here, which is great. I can try to put a little bit more concentrated dots on the little white flowers. If you're just joining and you are not sure what we're doing watercolor smooshing, trying out all 5 of the new in colors that are going to be available from Stampin' Up, and we're using the Love What You Do stamp set that's available in the Share What You Love bundle. If you do not have a Stampin' Up demonstrator and you need one, then I would be happy to work with you. If you do have a Stampin' Up demonstrator, then this is the right time to contact them and make sure that they are going to send you all the information that you need about the new upcoming catalog and the special promotion that is Share What You Love. I've already started creating with Share What You Love, and we'll be sharing a special tutorial pack for anybody who purchases it from my online store. You'll get a very large tutorial pack full of inspiration on how to create. So I'm going to go right back in here. Anne Marie, this is watercolor paper, and I've already pre-cut all of them, and I have embossed the additional ones. So I want to get something darker down in here to give some interest. I'm going to bow the paper again, and I'm just going to dot it. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. And don't be afraid to use an aqua painter. If you have one and you want to move some things around, you can also use just an inexpensive paintbrush, whatever you have. And your finger, of course. Inky fingers. And just dot it on. And see, that's enough to give it some movement. It's going to move the eye around. All right, so we are going to let this one dry too. That's Blueberry Bushel. I'm really loving Blueberry Bushel. Okay, so we're going to clean this up with just a damp paper towel. And the next color is going to be Lovely Lipstick. These are the first times that I'm using these colors and these stamp pads, so they are brand new and fresh. All right, so I'm going to start out. Wow, this is a very juicy, extremely juicy ink pad. That's great. Clean it up a little bit. I just took the plastic off of them today. I've been holding them back and waiting so that I could do this video with you guys today. All right, and now I'm going to spray. And here's another tip for watercolor smooshing, is if I hold the sprayer, the Stampin' Spritzer, and I spritz at an angle, all of my little ink particles are just going to fly everywhere. So one way that I have learned that it is more controlled is to come over, and that way it's still going to splatter out just a little bit, but I oftentimes will put my hand. That really does look like lipstick. Now see how it sprayed out onto my hand? But it kept my stamp pads clean. Except for this one, it got it a little bit. And that's okay. Wipe it right off. This looks like a color of lipstick that my mom used to wear. And she would wear it. She wore it in a photograph that we have. Photograph was probably taken in the 50s. So this looks like a really vibrant, it's like not red and not pink, it's just a really pretty color. Okay, here's another one of these panels that I have already heat embossed with clear embossing powder and used the little images from Love What You Do. Again, picking up the ends because I don't want that part to get any ink on it. Hi, Paula. Wow, look at the color. That's incredible. All right, so now I've just got this block. I want to get some different kind of variation. There we go. I just moved and dipped into a different area. Now see how this has an interesting shape over here? I'm going to take advantage of that. Well, it didn't really do so much. So here comes the finger to move things around a little bit. This is probably going to stain my finger for quite some time. Okay, so all these little splash and spray marks are good. Because this kind of went up at an angle, I'm going to bring it down at an angle over here and get just a little bit of a uniform look. And I want it to look organic, but I want it to also look intentional as well. Is that possible? I think it is. Okay, so I'm going to do one dry of this very quickly. If I were to dip this paper back into the ink while it is still wet, then it's not going to give me a layered look. It's just going to intensify and warp my paper even more. It doesn't have to dry completely, but the top layer of the paper needs to be dry. So now I'm going to kind of hold it in a different way because this is not really, I'm going to turn that and I'm going to hold it and bow it the other direction. I want to make sure you can see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to kind of dip it in to where the edges of the paper don't get so much ink. Although it is. Okay, here comes the finger again. Now this is a really vibrant, very, very bright, vibrant color. And I can see that when it dries back, it's a lot more pink to me. Did you guys catch the tip that I left on my video for my video tutorial yesterday on my YouTube channel? You'll have to go over and check it out. I gave a tip for how to intensify color on a watercolor project. Okay, so this is I'm satisfied enough with that. I'm going to clean up again, and I think this paper towel has just about gotten as much mileage as we can. So I've got another one ready. This is a damp paper towel, and I'm using my silicone craft sheet to be able to do the watercolor smooshing. Yeah, my finger's gonna have these colors on it for a while. That's okay. Now we're gonna try the green. Call Me Clover. And I'm going to do just that same, just dotting the edge of the stamp pad at like maybe a 90-degree angle. So let's go back over here before we get this started. And this one's dry now. And look how pretty Grapefruit Grove came out. I love that. See, now once it dries, you can bend the fibers of the paper back and get it to behave a little more. And here's the blueberry Bushel, dried back nicely. And look at all those layers. Oh, it's gorgeous. I can see the little hints of purple in it too. Beautiful. Hi, Betty. And now when this dries up a little bit, we'll be able to start seeing more of the layering of the colors. Okay, so let's add that spray again, and I'm going to block on one side and try to spray straight down. And it's still going to get a little bit on my hand, which is okay. Here's another one of these panels. So if you're just joining, then we are going through all of the new 5 in colors. I have already pre-used clear embossing powder to emboss some of the images from the Share What You Love suite, and we are stamping with Love What You Do. This little image here is already clear embossed, and I've only done it 4 times. I would appreciate it so much if you would share this video, leave a comment on the video, and like my Facebook page. And on Saturday, I'm going to do a drawing to send all 5 of this. This is going to be a set of cards that I will do a drawing and send them to you for free. So I'm going to just kind of dip this paper down in. Look at that. Now, here's something that I have not done so far. What if I want to get that paper, that ink that's welled up right there? What if I want to keep that intense color? Then I would hold the paper still and use my heat gun on low. And it's going to keep some of that color right there nice and dark. It's going to still move it around some. But it's going to kind of dry it in place. Now, if I were to use this on high, what it's going to do is just blow the ink right out of where it is. And that's not going to help me keep the ink in one place. Watercolor smooshing is something you can do so many different ways. There's no wrong or right. It's just fun, and it's natural looking, and have fun with it. So it's going to take a while to dry back some of those larger puddles, and I've gotten some of that ink color to stick into place and be darker. I'm going to go and add more color now. Here we go. So you've got, you can see where those puddles were, and I like how it gives me that pooled up look. And I'm going to use my finger to move this around. Dip it back in to make sure that I get enough. Now that is a nice looking shape. The blueberry is gorgeous, Debbie. I really like it. It's going to be so much fun to stamp with. And for watercolor smooshing, it kind of tends to bring out the base of the color and separate. And that's one of the things I love about watercolor smooshing technique, is that you can get just such unique results from it. Okay, this is wet. I'm going to dry it just a little, and then I'll add another layer of the green. That's dry enough. Okay, I just want to get this intensified in a couple of places, and then we'll move on to the last color of yellow. Pineapple Punch. What a fun name. There we go. This is nice. We've got some dark colors down here at the bottom. So I'm going to stop it right there and just let that. No, I'm not. I'm going to add just a little bit more here. That way it transitions. There we go. Okay, now I'll stop on the green. Going back with my damp paper towel. Colored eggs, yeah. Hi, Beth. Yes, I used my silicone craft sheet, and I am taking the ink colors, the new in colors, and I am smushing them down very lightly, and I'll show you how I did it in just a moment. And then I'm using my Stampin' Spritzer to add just enough water until it touches all of the ink, and it's going to dilute it just a little bit. So our last color is Pineapple Punch. Isn't that pretty? I like it just looking at it. Okay, so I'm going to hold this ink pad like maybe, like I said a 90-degree angle, but I was wrong. I think it's a 45-degree angle. Okay, just kind of go like at 2 o'clock and dip in just the edge of the stamp pad, because if I were to put the whole thing down, I would have more color than I can use, and it's a waste for me. So I just dip in the edge, and then I close the stamp pad back up because I'm done with it. Hi, Betty. Yes, they are gorgeous. I'm so excited about these new colors. And we have more colors coming on the way with the color refresh, with a color revamp, we're calling it. So it's so much new color opportunity. It's so exciting. I'm going to block off because anytime the force of the water, this little tool is so strong, guys. If you use it, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to spray directly down onto the ink, just giving it enough until I can see that all the ink has been touched by water. Get that out of the way. And this is our 5th and last one of the watercolor panels. So I'm going to roll the paper down onto it a little bit and pick it back up. It looks like it has a little bit of greenish in it. I did clean off my mat, so I know the green is not a carryover from this. It shouldn't be. All right, so let's do a full roll. I'm going to pick up the edges and roll it down. I picked up the edges because I don't want the color to go all the way onto the top and the bottom. I'm going to use a clean finger here to move some things around. And then once I get this dried just a little bit, I'm going to try to intensify this a bit. You can use an aqua painter that has no water inside because you've already diluted. This can dry naturally, or you can use your heat tool, as I've been doing. dry it back just a little bit to where the colors are going to layer on top of one another. And it also helps the watercolor paper to bend itself back into place. That's a little piece of magic, I think. Okay, so now I'm just dipping it. So if you like this technique, this is really easy. It's a wonderful way to add some color to a project, and it's kind of it's not no mess, I'm not going to lie, because you see the mess that's being made, but it is a no worries, because there's only so much that you can control in it. So just let go of control and just have fun. That's what I like the best about it. Beth, this is watercolor paper is what I'm using. I've already pre-cut and embossed the little images from Love What You Do stamp set that is going to be brand new in the Share What You Love. If you have not found out about Share What You Love bundle yet and the 3 bundles that are going to be available, then contact your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and they will clue you in. And if you have no Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, then I would love to be your demonstrator and you can contact me for more information. Okay, so we're going to start with the driest and start adhering these to all of the components that I've already pre-cut. And I've also pre-embossed some more flowers. So I'm going to use, this is very vanilla, and I have a vanilla card base. And this is regular vanilla. I'm using the paper that comes in the bundles for Share What You Love. There's 3 different bundles. Okay, so I'm going to use my tear and tape on this Grapefruit Grove. This is probably, this one and the blue, I think, are my favorite end colors this time around. And I'm going to add tear and tape to the sides. And this is going to make that watercolor paper lay right down, whether it wants to or not. If you missed the beginning of the video, then don't worry. You can go back and you can rewatch. Please share the video on your Facebook page. And if you like my Facebook page and leave a comment here, then I will pick somebody on Saturday, do a random drawing that has shared, liked the page, and left a comment, and I will send you all 5 of these cards because we're going to complete them today. So the only thing I don't like about tear and tape is sometimes it's a little bit challenging to get the little pieces off. And so I use my paper piercing tool to just lift it up. But I find that if I push it down into the paper really good, that it does help. All I need is one little spot that comes up, and then it's all good. These little color marks are from my fingers. So tear and tape is one of the strongest adhesives that we have at Stampin' Up. And there is lots of things to do with tear and tape. And this is my #1 favorite way to use it, is to get watercolor paper to behave itself. All right, so I've got a piece of very vanilla that is 1/4 inch larger than this panel. And I'm just going to center it here as best as I can. Give it a good contact push. And now my watercolor paper is going to behave. Isn't that nice? It will behave itself. So I'm going to put this on a card base of very vanilla, and then I have some pre-cut flowers I'm going to put on top of this, and we'll get to that in just a moment. So let's check out how Blueberry Bushel is drying out. That's probably going to be my favorite. Do you guys have a favorite in color of the new ones that are coming out? Or do you have a favorite in color that you're sorry to see go? Or how about an in color that's making a return? Is that what's got you excited? I'm excited to see Mint Macaron come back. That was a pretty green that I used. I used it more on Christmas cards than I ever would have imagined that I would have. And isn't that something? When you use a color that's not typical for a certain holiday, like the red and green combination here is going to be great for Christmas. But adding the Mint Macaron was just, I loved it. So now we have it back. So we have a lot of blueberry fans out there. I love the blueberry too. I don't feel like I need to put any tape in the middle of this piece. If it were a larger panel, then I would definitely put a couple of pieces diagonally in the middle here. And this little stains are coming from my fingers because I got ink on my fingers. So if you want to do this technique but you don't want to get your fingers all yucky like mine, then I suggest maybe putting on a very quick plastic glove. We keep plastic gloves around the house. We grab them from the dollar store. Here's another one of those pre-cut panels. Watercolor paper is not white and it's not vanilla. So as I was explaining earlier, I used clear embossing powder because that's going to match the part of the paper that's not actually colored. Blackberry Bliss is a great color, Arlene. All right, so this is our second. Now let's check out Lovely Lipstick. And I'm just bending it back into place. Wow, that is a really, really intense color. So imagine if you were to try the watercolor tip that I gave on my YouTube video yesterday, was on my YouTube channel. If you were to try that tip, I wonder how it would change the colors out. So be sure to pop over to my YouTube channel and watch the full video because that's where I give you the tips. And I'm adding this tear and tape, and as I go, I'm just making sure that I push it down into the paper to make a good contact. All right. I actually did buy myself a new silicone mat because my silicone mat is so well loved now that it doesn't have that nice smooth finish to it. And I wanted to have a nice clean one to be able to use in my videos. But in all honesty, if you have a craft mat and you use it, it's going to get well loved. It's going to have that look to it. I would have pre-put the paper on the back of these panels if I thought about it. I didn't. I like this red too, Betty. It's literally, it's so intense. Calling it Lovely Lipstick is a really good name because it is so intense. Okay, so this is what this one looks like. And I like how the color went onto those little tiny flowers. Lovely lipstick. And this is Call Me Clover and Pineapple Punch. Now the green kind of dried back a little bit on the Pineapple Punch. I'm going to put the tape on these simultaneously. I want to make sure that these cards are very well put together, because somebody that's watching the video today or watching the replay is going to have them in their hands, because I'm giving them away to everybody. I'm giving them away for everybody has a chance to win them in a drawing. If you share the video, I'm just going to put a little bit less on the edges there. If you share this video on your Facebook page and you leave me a comment and you like my Facebook business page, then I'll be excited to send these to somebody. This is the first time I've used these in colors. The first time I actually opened up the stamp pads. They are going to be available in the Share What You Love early release. You can get your hands on these stamp pads, on these colors early, which is really exciting. Okay, so this is going to come off. Now, while I'm doing this, I don't want you to not get a little bit more out of it. I have already taken some vellum and I have gold heat embossed one of the images, the large floral from Love What You Do. Let's have a good look at it here. And I have already fussy cut all of those. Now I stamped them in Versamark and added the gold embossing powder, and this is on vellum paper. And I have already cut all 5 of them out. Here we go. One more now. So this image is larger than what it shows on the stamp case. Not by too much, but by just enough. Your mat is well loved too, huh? Hi, Jackie. We are doing some watercolor smooshing with all 5 of the new stamp pads that are the in colors. And we're also using the Share What You Love bundle for Love What You Do stamp set. Okay. Now we are all caught up. If you're watching, if you would please share this video on your Facebook page and leave a comment and like my Facebook business page. I'm going to send all 5 of these cards to a random winner on this coming Saturday. So this image is really pretty. There's so many different things that you could choose to do with this image that I thought, wow, this is going to be too many possibilities. So I thought I would just bring it back to basics. And one thing I like to do with a very pretty image is giving a little bit of sparkle to it and just bringing it down to basics. So I've put it on vellum and already put fussy cut all of them out. And I will add some dimensionals to this. The gorgeous colors, I tell you. Yes, they are, Jackie. I can't wait to see what Miss Jackie does with all of these beautiful colors, because Miss Jackie is a true artist. So I did the watercolor smooshing technique, and we used our silicone craft mat and the Stampin' Spritzer on the new colors, and now we're going to take a look at how each one of those colors reacts with that technique. And we're going to add something very simple. And I've got some mini glue dots for this. for this piece. Some people get very hesitant to use mini glue dots on vellum because you can see the adhesive. However, there are enough large spaces that are in the image that will cover up that adhesive just enough. There's one, and there's two. And I think that's all it's really going to need to get it to stay down in place, because this is a very delicate little piece, and I'm just going to add this very simply. You could place it anywhere inside or anywhere on this panel. So the overall design of this is to have your splash of color, you have the integrity of the watercolor paper that is backed by the vanilla, and then you've got the heat embossed clear image of this little teeny tiny floral, and that gives some background image. And it's been pretty quick to put the 5 different cards together. So let's just add all of the, I'm not going to put the full cards together because that's going to take up too much of your time, but we will add the floral image to each one of these panels, and then I will finish them up off camera before we have the drawing, and that way somebody will be enjoying a brand new 5 set of cards with the new end colors and with the new stamp set. How good is that? Okay, so I'm going to bring this one up and try to center it right in the middle. So here's what 2 of them would look like, and this is just a nice set of note cards. There are some sentiments as well, and some really pretty sentiments, and I had picked out the thank you, and I usually tend to go for a little bit of a smaller, so I think I'm going to use a different one. We'll get to that in just a moment. Lovely lipstick is nice. Its jacket is so crazy how intense the color is. Oh, look at my fingers. It's really crazy intense. I think my breakout favorite is definitely going to be the Blueberry Bushel, because when the colors start to break apart, then it's that purple that comes out in it. And purple's not my favorite color. Blue is my favorite color. I like how the contrast is in this. But it's got some underlying tones of purple in it. So this is what that blue looks like. Now, something that you could do if you really wanted it to go super intense when you're ink smushing is to not add as much water. Don't give it as much of a spritz. And then what you smush is going to be right, like so concentrated. This is probably my second favorite color. I'm not so much of a peach person, but this doesn't carry as much peach tones. It does have some beautiful warm tones though. Okay, and that's the last one. And then we're gonna make some space here, and I'll show you what all of those finished cards look like. This is a fantastic stamp set, and paired with the other 2 stamp sets that are available with it, amazing. I can't wait to share all of the ideas that I have for the Make a Difference stamp set. I've got some really cool stuff brewing, and it's going to be amazing. So here are all 5. Let's scoot them up a little bit to make sure we can see. And we've got some really intense colors going here. We've got diluted color where we can see that layer upon layer of color is beautiful. I love the intensity. Thank you, Betty. Have fun at work. Have a safe day. So by adding the gold and embossing it on vellum, it's allowing the color tone to show through, and it just gives it a little something different. So the sentiment that I would choose to add to these is Love What You Do. It's going to be about the right size, so let's check it out. Turn it the right way here and see if it has just enough room. I think it does. See, if we add this image right here, it'll be just right. Now this could be added in black, which is what I would probably do, or any kind of a neutral. I think I'm going to leave them for this intensity, for the intents of this project. I'm going to leave the sentiment off, because this will give someone an opportunity when they receive these to add some kind of sentiment on their own. Thanks, Anne. I really, really am digging the Share What You Love. If you guys haven't seen the flyers yet for it, if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, then let me know here in the comments. And I would be happy to hook you up with all the latest promotions and new catalogs and all my tutorials. Wonderful stuff. Here is the other stamp set. This is one that I have so many ideas on. And there's 143 images in this stamp set. Isn't that cool? There's so much going on here. And this is only available in one of the bundles. This is the Statement of My Heart, and this reads out the Statement of the Heart from Stampin' Up. And this would be something great to add to the back of the cards. I will probably put this on the back of all of these cards that are going to be given away here. I like the primary colors too, Kathy. They are definitely what's needed for a change. So I'll show you really quickly. Ask your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator about the in-color collection that you can get whenever these bundles release. When the Share What You Love promotion starts, you'll be able to get a hold of these stamp pads. So get the stamp pads early if you want to. If you want to join as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator on my team, in the month of May, you'll be able to get access to all of the early release products and get them in your starter kit. And you get a discount. So it's good. And the free shipping is amazing. So much happening right now. It's so exciting. In the Gotta Have It All bundle is the pearlized doilies. And I'll tell you guys, I have already started making using this paper here and making some cards, and I'm so excited. The paper is absolutely gorgeous. I'm not going to bring it out today because I want to focus on the new in colors and the stamp set that goes with this bundle. And this is the Love What You Do, and then the Make a Difference. So I hope you enjoyed being able to learn or refreshen up on a new technique. It's really exciting to be able to use new colors and use them with a technique that's fun too. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to the drawing that we're going to have on Saturday. I'll work to finish up these cards and put them all together with dimensionals, and that way everybody can have a chance to win them. Yay, I'm so excited. So if you have any questions about any of the products I've used today or about the technique that I've used, then just leave a comment here and I will be sure to get back to you about that. Thank you for all the hearts and the likes. I appreciate it. I really appreciate you guys coming in, hanging out with me. I'm going to cross-post this video on my YouTube channel on Sunday, so it'll be after the drawing. So if you are watching on YouTube, I'm sorry, but the giveaway has already completed and a name has already been drawn. And if you're curious to see who it is, then go down to the video description that's down here, and you can click it and go to my Facebook business page and find out who the winner was. And make sure to come back on Saturday and see if you're the winner, because I want to give these cards away. Yay! Okay, everybody, have a fantastic day and happy crafting. Bye.